All right, let's hop into another one. We've got some high view action. Vortex back on the grind. This guy has been missing for, I don't know, 2 weeks on the grind at least. I don't know what he's been up to. Maybe he's just been screaming practice in secret, but he's back on the ladder on high view with the Roos. On the other side, he's going up against Ravane. Ravane, who's actually been doing really well for himself. German player, ranked all the way up to 10th. I think right now he's down in 29th place on the leaderboard, but he's been consistently at the top. And this should be a fun one, actually. You know, usually at the moment, I clock out of high view very quickly, but the fact that we've got Vortex in it is why I kind of have hope here. There are a few players where I will still click on high view, and Vortex is most definitely one of them. Especially with a Civ like the Roos, who could look for the late game, but could just easily look for a way of ending fast and hard here. Roos is a hard counter to HRE that can end fast, folks. See, Roos is one of the most annoying things for HRE because fast castle boys quickly become sad boys. And this is a fast castle boy. Yeah, I think Ravane may have just taken the harder way of winning this game. I actually do think that the way for HRE to try and beat this matchup now is in Feudal Age. It might even be that 2TC Feudal is the way to play this, because if you don't do this, if you go fast castle instead, what happens is Vortex will go 2TC, and he will wall off these relics with 4-5 Palisade walls. You'll never get in before he's in castle as well. So, not a bad sign to open this game for Ravane. Fact, let's speed up to get a little bit close to live here. So there's going to be 2 DCs. Oh, that's a juicy spot. Really well insulated as well. The deer, both of them nearby. You've got the wood line behind that you could easily wall off and then wall down here to stop 360 rotations if need be. Also moves you out towards these more flank-based relics, so you can easily just kind of ripple over. And there's the move we were talking about. The triangles are on the way. Confirmation that Vortex is one of the Illuminati. This is exactly why HRE loses this matchup 9 times out of 10, by the way. In fact, I wonder, if I was to check the statistics, what would the pub say? Because I know I don't trust the pubs, by the way. The statistics will not be fully indicative, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 70% win rate for Roos. Let's have a look. Roos versus HRE, 67.2% win rate with 58 games played this patch. Yeah. And even if you go back on the patches, Roos versus HRE, previous patch, 80% win rate. This is by far one of Roos's easiest wins. And yeah, I had a good time on the weekend, folks. Thank you very much for the compliments. It was only 18 hours of Age of Empires 4 across 2 days. Only 18. Crunker through a few Red Bulls, power through, and okay, that's cool. Remember how I said, like, you know, you play typical HRE fast castle for relics, you're going to lose the game. It isn't typical fast castle relics. We've got Burgrave spam on the way. There's a problem, though, and it's a big one. Look at the sheep count. He doesn't have anything. You know, I was confident. I was like, this is going to be great. He's going to have like 10 sheep to pump with. He has 1 sheep and 3 farms. That is not nice sheep. That's... Oh, man. This might be one of the most underwhelming Burgraves we ever see. Knight's already queued up as well as a reaction. I mean, that does at least actually play into Ravane's favor here, because Teal can now just build Spearmen to counter. Maybe that was the plan all along? It's all still food-based at the end of the day, though. A little bit shocked that Vortex is doing this. He has scoured the Burgrave, so he's anticipating men-at-arms, and his call is correct. Wow. Teal needs to be scouting right now. He's making a bit of a blunder here, because he isn't moving out to get vision at all. He's worried about maybe Knight showing up here. First relic is at least going to be grabbed, so Ravane will get a bit of gold trickle, but that should be all he gets in this game. Vortex. Well, he's not holding back here. Continues to queue up more Knights. And arms upgrade is on the way. Fortified positions are coming up, so Vortex going to Wooden Fortresses. Pretty smart choice here, actually. If you get castle turrets, it's really big. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls a few villages for that exact reason. Remember, castle turrets gives +2 damage, which means you offset the entire value of effective HP that you get from feudal to castle men-at-arms. Wait, there's patch notes for next season? No, I have not seen them. And arms starting to arrive. Just enough room for everyone to be safe as well. Even enough room for the next villager to be safe. A lot of damage at the start here. Ravane made a mistake. He didn't build a blacksmith. He doesn't have undermesh. He has no protection here. One Knight is going to charge in. Looks like Ravane going to start losing villages at the back here. And why? You're in Castle Age. No. Guys, I think this is going to be a very quick game. I don't really know what Ravane's strategy now entails. I mean, I guess the argument can be made that Vortex is spending a lot on staying in feudal. But Knights over time will beat these men-at-arms, right? Especially if you just add in the castle turrets. Dive comes in again. Too many villagers in the area. Only by one, though, and he'll be able to escape. There is a hunt on the flank here. But it's 8 villages, right? And I don't think you can burn this down with 4 men-at-arms. Knights are also coming over. This could easily be 4 MAA lost. Kind of the other annoying thing in this game for Ravane is, like, in a way, it's nice that he can raid all these different locations. It's bad, though, because the fortifications. And what makes it really bad is because Ravane has to split up for all these different locations, Vortex can use his mobility advantage. He can send Knights to cut the small groups down and then eventually deal with the bigger threat. Oy, oy, oy. Just like that, he gets chopped down. Spearman switch now coming in, but Vortex can address that as well, right? Could always just go towards archers now. It's arriving. I do think Vortex is going the hard way about this, by the way. Castle turrets is not very expensive. You spend 75 wood to get +2. So that is an insane amount of extra damage here, right? Like you're doing, I think it's 6 base damage, if I remember correctly, from Wood of Fortress. So you're only hitting for 2. You'd be hitting for double that if you got castle turrets. Ravane. How many farms are we up to now? In some ways, he's kind of survived the uncomfortable phase here. But on the flip side, Vortex is now up by 12 villages. And there are still 4 relics that look very feasible, because the thing that Ravane done here, he targeted the eco instead of just going for the relics to try and burn through. These walls are really frustrating, but when you've got mass spearmen and mass men-at-arms, it's meant to be feasible to actually breach these. Instead, he's marching for that flank resource again. Another annoying thing about dealing with the Rus is not just the fact that their wooded fortresses are really tanky, it's the fact that because they have 8 instead of 5 inside, it's a lot more arrow fire coming out against unarmored units like Spearmen. Okay, looks like he's going to commit in for the burn here. Spearmen start to get targeted down. Vortex is going to be annoying with this. Yeah, he baits the Spearman off. You're going to be returned over. Dive comes in the other side, though. Idle time on the gold at home, and villagers also getting chopped down. So Vortex, actually the one doing eco damage here. And villagers are going to break off. Ravane. What was that timing? The distraction came in perfectly there. It's almost like he knew exactly when Ravane was looking to micro his villagers. So Vortex, he actually might get away with maybe 1, maximum 2 villager losses, which is really good from this position. Especially considering that Castle Age is not far off. Okay, I'm actually impressed that Vortex is losing so little for this. You know, with a Burgrave spam of Spearman like this, you'd expect at least one of the pocket resources to lose their cool there, to lose the villager count. But so far, he's done a fantastic job of dodging death. We're going to have High Trade House on the way soon. I imagine we'll be dropping it like here. Okay, maybe here. Afterwards, you're going to have Knights vetted up. You're going to have, what, probably Horse Archers on the way here? There you go, High Trade House now coming in. And it is indeed looking like Horse Archers. Could be crossbows as well, but you're against Spearmen, right? Like, it doesn't really make sense. You could just go Archers, Knights. But the nice thing about Horse Archers plus Knights is you know your opponent has played Burgrave, you know he can't just farm spam, right? He has to play flank resources. Dive onto the second TC. Vortex may need to rush this tech up with more urgency. Militia have been pulled. Villagers just look for the repair. Militia are going to start engaging, so Spearmen have to turn around for that. It means the TC is going to last longer. Knights do now commit. This is a really good value for the Militia, though, right? They're going to get wiped out, but they're idling this up long enough that the High Trade House is going to be coming through. Villagers able to vacate the area, and the tech up does succeed. 62 to 39 eco. Ravane needs to punish this right now. When the mesh being queued up. Archers are going to be the call from Vortex, so it looks like he does feel it's necessary. Makes sense, right? Horse archers if you're attacking, but when you're defending, horse archers where attack speed is just going to hurt you. Not to mention the higher cost. Problem for Ravane is diving this TC, especially without undermesh. What now for Ravane though? He's kind of locked in until he gets a decisive hit, right? Like I don't think you can just fast imp here. Especially with this many farms. 16 farms. I wonder, men-at-arms, does he just go for the heavy maces? Yeah. So no two-handed weapons, a little bit surprising here. Would have been more value. Vortex. This wall's important. He needs as much wood as possible. I actually think he needs additional archer ranges. That is way too greedy. Playing for relics, you'd think it would make sense, but you know, in this situation, you need a defense line, right? And militia-wise, he's only got 2 tickets left. Still only 2 archer ranges. You know, if Ravane actually gets ranged armor level 2, he can full-on send it. He's going to start sending it anyway. Villagers caught on the deer. Dive towards the TC. Kremlin is about to come in with the assist here, and this thing can shred. This might be a dive too far. He baits him in. Ravane happily takes a nibble on that bait as well. Knights just trying to slow things down. Archers continue to start a step back. Spearman count is getting lower. If he can clear his spears out, the Knights might be able to turn it. But right now, he's being forced out the other side of his base. In fact, Knights running into their death. Spearman still waiting around. It's falling apart. And it's falling apart fast. Vortex. Eco lead will not extend anymore. Remember, any loss here is permanent. And also on top of that, 59 versus 46. With the Achery Arcan Chapel, it's fair to say they're almost eco even. In fact, eco mile ahead right now. I don't know if Vortex can survive this. Men-at-arms hitting onto the eco on the side now. He's out of food. Oh my god, is Ravane actually doing this right now? I mean, this is meant to be such an orderly approach for the Roos, right? Like, it's meant to be usually be such a simple matchup. But Ravane, with what we thought was going to be one of the most underwhelming Burgraves imaginable, may have found the time here. That being said, Spearmen are now gone. Vortex, by some miracle, kept all the Knights alive, barely. Those cycle charges could be problematic. Another big issue here is Ravane. He never got the ranged armor 2. So that arrow fire from the Kremlin, from the TC, definitely added up there. However, now looking beyond this fight, with the eco more or less neck and neck, it's fair to say Vortex, although he's still alive, is not by much. In fact, he might be dead soon. Caught on the flank again. Men-at-arms hunting through the tree line. They are seen, but it's by archers only. Vortex, ranged armor is going to definitely be needed by Ravane now with the steel tips too coming in. Flash in. Knights, remember those health bars are low, so they can't hang around too long. Yeah, you kind of want to just cycle charge, but because the archers are here, you have to protect them. The fortress going up. Behind inside. Meanwhile, on the main, looks like once again the men-at-arms do go in for a little bit of hunting, and now we are eco even 51 to 51 in this game. Still only 1 relic picked up by either side. I feel like Ravane was in a position to end this game. And I don't know if it's because he went in too deep or if it's just Vortex playing like a god. But these Knights against this comp should never have lasted this long. Vortex has more gold, but he needs food. Like, this is the thing. If Vortex can't find food, I mean, you can build archers, right? But it's archers versus mass men-at-arms at the end of the day, right? Like, this is the biggest problem I'm seeing for Vortex. And you can't just go mangoes, right? It's men-at-arms, they won't care. He's going now for the relics, which, I mean, I guess you do have gold for that, right? It's only 40 food per warrior monk, so it's not the worst of ideas. Got some berry gathering on the front line. So this will at least give a breather. Vortex is getting time to go into the crossbows now. And Ravane, what is his win condition in his mind now? Because, you know, when someone backs up this much, you're thinking maybe Imp. He's not, though. It's all still actively going into unit pump. Coming in. He has now got the two-handed, right? So some bonus damage there up against the archers. Choke points are going to be his enemy here. Lovely militia pull. Vortex just delaying in this choke point. Kremlin starting to assist. Ravane. I mean, the numbers aren't as drastically ahead for Teal anymore. It is still mostly archers for the Rus. But I think, once again, this dive towards the Kremlin could be the stinger that hurts Ravane. He has at least got the ranged armor too this time around, so a little bit better from that picturesque element. But Knight's flank is not going to work out. Vortex tried to send what little he had in to do damage. Doesn't find value for it. It's going to be a strong reset again. This time, crossbows are now starting to scale. But Vortex still yet to answer that deep, dark question. What's in the food? This is relentless. I think we should just start calling him Revane, because I can't imagine this is comfortable with Vortex, and actually doing this to Vortex as well. Right? Like, this is the thing. Like, Vortex is usually the player we get into a game and say he'll be the one attacking. This is an unfamiliar position. You'd think someone who attacks so much would know how to finesse around it, but it's not usually the case, right? Actually, usually they aren't used to defending. Thank you, Krakady, for that deep insight. You're right. There are a lot of deer here. Isn't that how Ravane truly griefs him? You just come in and you kill the deer and walk out the other side? I don't actually know if the men-at-arms pump is working anymore. I mean, in fairness, Vortex still doesn't have permanent food, right? But with crossbows now starting to come out, these fights get notably harder for the HRE. And after all that, the relics do end up going the way of Vortex. Check this. Already took the 2 from the center. Still has the other 2 to play. So looking like a 4-1 split. Honestly, I'm starting to think Vortex is out of the woods here. Teal does have another pump of men-at-arms coming. But by the time they arrive, the crossbow count is almost going to be equal. There's a play for one of the relics, so maybe he can turn this into a 3-2 split. But remember, this is not Regnitz, it's Burgrave, right? So the gold you're getting here is inferior to the gold being gotten by the Rus, even by the High Trade House alone. 218 gold out of that bad boy. A little bit slow on the reactions here. Knights are starting to raid. What's Teal do here? I think he needs to go siege. If you build 2 mangoes, it's very hard for the Rus right now because they won't have time to react with it in the face, right? Like, in theory, long-term, playing siege against Rus is bad, but we're not going imp here, right? This is locked in castle. If Ravane wants to continue this castle age approach, he needs to counter the mass ranged, and I don't know if I really like this. I mean, going Vet Horseman seems like a good idea, but you're going to be fighting into choke points, right? Where the Archer Mass can hold, where just a few Knights can hold you back. Also, the farm count, like, are we deep enough? I think we're on the verge. He had 26. I usually prefer Mass Horsemen around, like, 35 farms, because that's when it starts to get unrelenting. 4-5 walls also now starting to come in from Vortex. If I had to kind of assume what Ravane's thought process is with Horsemen over Mangoes, it's the detail of reaching Imp Siege, and then also the other issue is you're going to be notably slower, right? Like, this allows you to move fast which can be good on a map like Highview, but to me, the timings just don't line up here, right? With the walls coming up like this, you're not going to get any free hits. I think, did Vortex get a glimpse of those horsemen? May have done. For Ravain's sake, I hope not. This is the type of play that if you get scouted in the infancy, it falls apart, right? You kind of need to hide that you're doing horsemen, especially in Castle Age. Probably the age where they're the most underwhelming of all three. Yeah, there's not many civs that can get away with like horseman pumping at this stage of the game, right? HRE farms truly are built different. Nice, just trying to raid multiple locations. And the whole comp's been revealed, right? So this is where Vortex likely should be dropping 2 to 3 Raxes and spamming spears. Apparently not, though. Does he just think the walls are going to be good enough here? I do wonder. I mean, we've got a lot of stone gathering going on. It looks like Vortex's goal is just to reach Imperial. If your opponent is massing horsemen at this stage, though, and you rush him, you will just die. Unless he's thinking Spasskaya Tower, but you know, at that point, you question whether you're even thinking, whether your brain's working, right? Like, Spasskaya never feels good to build here. It would also give the siege advantage over to the HRE in Imp because of culverins. Attack and defend. When we go, mass melee versus mass ranged. Now, 4-5 palisades are strong. They're not that strong, though. And here's the issue of the play from Teal. Militia. The militia should be able to frontline this. Only 8 of them so far, though. He hasn't got many tickets reserved. Crossbows are going to try to start a step back. Militia will intercept the melee mosh pit to cut it up a bit. Ravain will start diving in here. And Vortex, the greed starts to show, right? Floating 2,000 resources that should have been spent on units here. Gets into the choke points. Men-at-Arms just trying to stick on top of him. But remember, this is primarily just crossbows versus MAA now. Theory of fight, you can win. Keep drop does come in on the backside, and that should be enough to reset this. Ravain has to leave the base. Is it a coincidence that HRE are winning most of their games right now with mass archers and not with this? It's such a hard thing to dive with, right? Like, it's one of those kind of caveats where we talk about mass crossbows diving at base is bad because you can't kill any buildings, but at the same time, when you have to kill an army, mass range versus mass melee, I mean, HRE at least do it a bit better, but you're seeing the struggle here, and Ravain recognizes it as well. He's queued up Landsneck to try and overcome this problem now. Landsneck with no Regnit's Gold, though, is quite the tricky predicament. Not the most sustainable of comps. Vortex. Well, there definitely was a hole in the food gathering. We have got an extra TC laid in behind. So Vortex went back for 2 TC again. I wonder, does he just set up farms on the east side here? Maybe a keep drop to protect? That will set him up for the late game, right? And the worrying part for me is HRE. You'd think they'd want Imperial, but apparently Ravain is allergic to the 4th Age. He saw the Age of Mythology announcement. He's like, I want to be as close to the age when the gods interacted with us as possible. Imperial sounds too far gone. Have we got another keep drop on the way? We have. Okay. Wow, for a 4K gold. I mean, there is the stone as well, right? So that kind of makes up for it. Farm count still just feels incredibly underwhelming here. Wood wall after wood wall coming up, though. So it looks like we have got Vortex now carving out the map. Vayne, quite a few Landsneck. Heavy investment. Worth it if we can get a touch. Vortex just punched him through the burn through. He's going to have to back up here, though. Vortex, he doesn't have many pulls anymore. The militia, only 4 of them this time. Head on in. Knights. Oh, wait, Ravain? Vortex caught him not looking. Oh, that was an all aggro. Sick move there. Vortex buys enough time to get the choke points. Can Ravain commit enough with this dive? Landsneck struggling to get in on time to do any damage to the crossbows. A successful retreat towards the keep and the TC here. Some of the eco might be left behind. Can Ravane find it? Hugging the castle right now. He has to be careful about this. There's 5 land stake in the mixer, and that might cleave him down. All in all would do a wonder here right now. Coming in 20 seconds. And another wall. Bye. We don't know these villages. The ultimate counter to mass melee. Ravane, it looked like a good dive, but it feels like there's never an end point to this. Never a successful killing blow that gets him over that hump. He has to reset. No easy way out of here. Meanwhile, Knights trying to get frisky in the enemy base. We've got warnings now occurring from the teal side as well. But I do believe we're about to see Vortex take the military lead here. 0 food income, by the way. That's the amount of pressure he's under in this game. What is this game? We'll burn throughs. But remember, there's already a keep on the west side, so that's not going to be very impactful in this area. Another keep drop coming in. I actually think Revenge needs to go in. You can tell he doesn't want to against the Ruse, but I just don't think you have a choice anymore. Good dive on the workers. Just debate, though. The problem is the wall, it went back up. If the second wave was in, maybe, but now with this detail, I feel like first wave gets cleared up. The castle isn't going to go up is the big question, though. Vayne once again looking to break in. I think that's going to be a cancel. Yeah, Vortex a bit greedy about this. Didn't pull 20 villages. What an insane game. Going to pull it back a bit. Castle looking to go up this time. Ravane now hesitant. Okay, guys, this is the type of strike that you either win the game with or you instantly lose the game with. 14 land snacked. Rams also now being prepped. More men-at-arms on the way. Vortex refusing to build any melee units. What? I do feel bad for Ravane, by the way. If they were playing on the better version of Highview, he could have went for a Sacred Site victory by now. But instead, because of the obtuse design of this map, Vortex is allowed to survive in a game he really shouldn't be alive in anymore. All because there isn't an alternative win condition than diving. I do think that Ravane probably should have thought about a Siege Workshop by now, right? Like, Trebs on the front line would have dealt with this base. In some way, he kind of chose the more difficult path to success here. Fortified wall should protect long enough for the castle to go up. Maybe not. Oh, no. Guys, there's Landsneck in there. It's going to march in. That's going to be a cancel the keep. Vortex mistakes made. No one pulled to try and repair. Back inside the safe walls. But that means the farms are inactive right now. The problem right now is that this keep doesn't go up, then he can't fight against the Landsneck, right? Like, the Boiling All is huge here. Crossbows, archers start to poke. Rams being built now. Knights are still being annoying with the little raids. The chip damage here or there, but villagers need to get this up right now. Landsneck are going to move in. Vortex, I think he's going to accept it. Some villagers have to die for him to thrive. Castle up. Boiling All, hold out the windows. Unfortunately, it looks like it was held on practically nothing in that first wave. Back behind the walls we go. Love the multiple gate. It just allows you to come and go as you choose. Burn for a attempt, but you're diving double keep here. This guy is absolutely relentless. 12 Landsneck in the mix still. All in all, once again kicking in, and the pathing! Oh, come on! AoE force should not be this hard. That is twice now on that castle that the pathing has sent him the wrong way. That is twice now he has failed on the dive. Villagers heavily injured, eco lead has been shrunk. But that is a pricey army to throw away. Oh my god. I think that's it. That was the moment, right? That was make or break. Look at what happens now. Wolves go back up. Farms are operable. We're already on our way towards Imperial Age in a matter of moments here. Meanwhile, Ravane on the other side, nowhere near. He was so fixated on keeping this out of Imperial Age. It may have just cost him the game. And it's not just attacking the buildings. No, everyone's misreading the real issue here. If he'd just gone siege. Truly. Siege is the thing that was missing here. Trebs. Your opponent built 4 castles, and you built 3 rams as a result. That's your counter? That's your solution. And now we will see a Spasskaya. I don't think it's even necessary here. High Armory would have worked. Admittedly, this gives HRE a way of playing the game now with Culverin, so a little bit shocked by this choice. It does at least secure the 8k. It does guarantee that Streltsy will be in the future of the Rus. Are we molding about range units? I mean, would the range units have fared that well if it wasn't for the stupidity of fortified palisade walls, right? That's another interesting thought. And no, actually, thank you for pointing that out. The eco upgrades are not bugged. Ravane is 35 minutes into a game as HRE, and he's only getting his level 1 wood ecotech now. He doesn't have the mining, he doesn't have the food. Wow. I mean, assumptions make an ass out of you, right? Because I just assumed that he would have been on point with those. And you've got to be kidding me. Like, we're in Imp now, and now you want to go mangoes. What's the solution to these ranged OP comps, speaking Horsemen? Horsemen actually having more range, basically. More range and better pathfinding. That's literally all it needs. That's why Yuumi look OP in the games we've seen Castle Rushes. Like, they even beat Horsemen because of that. Because you just can't stick on top of them. That's why H3 archers seem busted right now. I mean, even mangoes, right? Like, don't feel good against these faster moving range units. Calming moment here, but I've got a bad feeling for Ravane in this game now. He's massing Landsnake again. Remember, no Regnits, so this is quite the hole you're burning in your pocket. Crazy thing, by the way, this Spasskaya isn't even about stonewalling. Like, I don't think Vortex will build a single stonewall this game, even though it makes sense against this comp. It's just because he wants a strong point defense for the 8k gold. So that kind of tells you how Vortex feels about the game, right? Like, I mentioned high armory just feels better, but then you have to ask the question, what does he need high armory for? What has really been built that would require high armory? This is the only thing now, the mangoes. Before that, there was no reason, right? Your opponent wasn't building mass range, you didn't need mangoes yourself. You didn't have mangoes already, you did not need spring ults. So like, maybe Ravane can get a remarkable fight because his opponent neglects that detail, but it's a very big maybe. Breach on the walls. Oh, the stone walls didn't go up in time. Ravane has to react to this. If he doesn't send back like 15 spears, he's going to lose a lot of economy. They're coming in. He farms the prime target, right? Just cut the heart of the eco out of the HRE here. Second wave of horsemen now making their way in. And Ravane. What is he doing right now? He's sending it into the base. In the meantime, Horseman, he finally realizes. Oh my god, Horsemen are going to have a field day here. He finally realizes that he has to back up because there's another castle. Oh, this is one of the most painful losses I watched. I can't believe what we're seeing here. I mean, Ravane should rename himself Bruce Willis. He's in a movie where he doesn't realize he's dead yet. There's just nothing to this now for Ravane. He's going to flood in. Maybe if he found all the eco instantly, but there's no way that's going to happen. Horseman backstab. Mango's left unguarded. And now the sandwich. Mango shot comes in, but he'll only get one. Horseman will wrap around for the final stab down, and that is going to be the end for Ravane. Army to be wiped, and no comeback from this. What a turn of tides here. We had Vortex down at no income. Now it's Ravane's turn. Elite Army Tactics on the way, Streltsy as well, but they won't see the light of day because we will not go a step further. Ravane, he almost turned the most underwhelming Burgrave build look like the most overpowered, but in the end, he could not end. And the Rus shine on through.